Yeah, so show day is over. Show day is freaking over. No more. For now. For now. So the goal has changed as much as it has stayed the same. So for this show, for the Arnold Columbus, the goal was to do better than the Arnold Columbus of last year, which I think I achieved for me. Definitely had kind of a cooler, harder look. There was there was a couple side-by-side shots, especially of like a side tricep. There was a picture that somebody made where they kind of combined like last year's Sam versus this year's Sam. It was a pretty good jump. Like honestly, even just like looking at myself on stage, in those two kind of comparison photos, it sort of just looked a little more. Well, shit. It's not. My first instinct would say it looked a little bit more professional, which literally it did. But yeah, so now the goal has changed, and I want to look a little bit better for the Arnold UK. So, what is this? 19 days out, 18 days out or so. So we got 19 or 18 days to run it back better. To run it back with a fuller, harder, slightly leaner kind of look. How am I going to do that? Well, for one, treats are officially off the menu. That was certainly kind of a wild carb up day as well as show day in terms of goodness, in terms of just like total calorie intake. But no, so we're back on the deficit. Cardio back in the mix. So today is going to be an arm day, and right now I am residually heavy because I'm very watery. So I'm just as carved up. I mean, maybe a little bit less as I was yesterday, but also I've kind of rebounded my water intake. So I weigh like 240 this morning. So obviously that weight is not permanent. That is glycogen, water, intracellular, kind of rebound water weight. So over the course of the next, honestly, probably not even a week, more like over the course of the next like 5 or so days, just from getting back on a regular deficit diet, cardio, normal training routine, of course, good sleep. Well, then I'm going to get back to my kind of morning weight of like a 230, and then I'm going to bring it a little bit harder. So I'm going to push the deficit just a little bit harder over these next 2 weeks. Try to get just a tiny, excuse my yawn, tiny, teensy, little bit leaner. And then I think I'm not going to flatten out so much before the UK show. So before this show, the day before, I had a really low calorie day with my water loading. So I woke up for check-ins super depleted. I checked in at 224. I can weigh 227. So I think I can eat a little bit more into the show because I guess what I'm really trying to say now is I want to wake up for check-in morning right at 227 mark so that I can actually carb up a little bit more, be a little bit fuller, not necessarily for just the sake of like size, but if you can tell you're a little bit more depleted than normal, well then, if you look depleted, it's going to kind of take away from your overall look. Like right now, at 240, I look full as a freaking house. Now, of course, I'm not so lean because I'd say technically right now I'm spilled over. Like that intracellular water layer that I was talking about, that I was putting so much importance on, like I'm trying to dry this layer out so that it's thinner and I can see more grain. Right now, that is definitely full of water. So if I went on stage right now, I look people say I look like a watery mess. But what I'm trying to say is I want to come in with just kind of a more timely, fuller carb up, and if I'm a little bit leaner in between, because only 18 days of dieting, that's still 18 days. That's pretty substantial. I can lose a pound of body fat, maybe a pound and a half or so. So that's kind of the plan going forward. But plan for this morning before I go back to the Expo and go check out everybody over there. So I'm going to get a quick little arm pump. So I think nothing else to say about it. Let's just go make it happen. All right. So I'd say the best part about doing 2 shows in a row is you get to make adjustments for the second one almost right a freaking way. So I know what I want to change, and I know what I got to do in between to make those changes freaking happen. But to start, I think let's just do 30-pound dumbbell curls, and then immediately hit some rope extensions. So I'll just make this kind of a superset day. And honestly, I don't have to go that wild. Like even doing a feeler of the 30s, probably even after just doing 4 back and forths, like 4 curls, 4 push downs, 4 whatever, I might just be fully freaking pumped. So let's just get started. Holy crap. 30s are not supposed to feel like that. One more of those, and then we'll change it up to something else. Yeah. All right. Let's do some bicep bias pull downs. And I'm going to stay with the rope. Honestly, the rope extension right now is freaking perfect. Yeah, this will be good. Normally I do the stack with this. I gotta pull it back a little. Do a few notches lighter. those, and I don't know, maybe I'll do one more pair or something. I'm definitely almost fully pumped though, so we're getting close. I go a little lighter on this one too. Alright. Yeah, I think that's all. I can tell I'm already freaking fully pumped. So let's find some lighting and see how we're looking as, as watery as ever. Alright, so stage weight was 230. Currently, this is 242. So let's see if there's any substantial size difference. Which, I mean, fuck man, that's like 2 gallons of fluids added to the frame. So let's see what we're looking. Oh yeah, I mean shit. Even just looking through the camera reflection, I can tell that's a much fuller kind of look. But also much more watery without as much like super noticeable grain. But not so crazy. So that's what I mean when I say I want to carb up heavier, or actually even just come into next show fuller, is if I'm not so depleted on check-in day, that means I can push my food, or not exactly my food, but push like my intramuscular fullness a little bit higher by starting from a more full position rather than a depleted one. So that'll be the change I want to see. Not that size is like everything, but in terms of like how full you want to look and how much you want to like fill your frame, it does make a pretty substantial difference. So I think nothing else to say. Let's just get back in the car, head back down the Expo. All right. Yeah, if you manage to make it this year, I think I'm pretty sure the stats were saying this is the craziest, busiest Arnold Expo of the last like 10 freaking years. I got to walk up through like kind of the like the upper tunnels of the Expo, going back and forth between like the stage and then the hotel and everything, and I got to see out over like this little balcony area. I have never seen the Expo floor so packed. Now, of course, that's on Saturday, which is the busiest day. But I mean, it was like there was more people than you could see carpet, which I mean is just freaking crazy. So if this is your first Expo, you really get the full brunt of it. If the Arnold 2026 was your first freaking exposure, so that's just fucking awesome. So if you're kind of curious if anybody was like butting heads backstage, and I'm not texting, I'm watching my maps. But if you're curious if we were all like just fucking like meat mugging each other backstage, like pumping up, not even. Not all of those classic dudes were fucking awesome. Obviously Wesley's super cool. I've kind of chatted with him a little bit, and of course he's gonna be cool. He's the top dog. But everybody else, yeah, it was really chill. So that made it extra fun too. And the way that they organize it with like the pump up space, and then the kind of, because you get a little bit of a few minute reminder, like, all right, well, you're going up in 10, you better get your glaze on so you're extra shiny before you go up on stage. Like, they run it well over there. So that was, I couldn't have asked for a better show, that's for sure. The only thing I can ask for going forward, if you're on UK, is a better showing, right? So yeah, so if I can come in a little bit fuller, just as honestly, just as dry and lean, like conditioning wise, that's about as much as I'm going to be able to expect. Maybe a little leaner. You know, I mean, I got 2 solid weeks. 2 weeks of strong cardio and a calorie deficit. You can drop 2 pounds. You know, so I think I'll be able to pull out a few more glute striations, maybe a little bit more quad, everything else. Come up with a new routine, pick a new song. Yeah, I think we'll be freaking good. So now, as much as this was kind of like I don't want to say a break, because that was phase one of this whole competition season. But with all the food, it kind of did seem like a break, you know, just because all the work was already kind of done beforehand. Show day, you just get to show up, you know. Like I was talking with one of the protein guys, it's like, you know, if you're stressing now backstage, you should have been stressing like a few weeks ago. That's all I've been saying this whole time. Like, you know, crunch time was 2 months ago. Crunch time was a month ago in terms of at least, you know, coming in like conditioned, you know. So if you're stressing out like the week of, or you're trying to pull some crazy shit the last few days to get a couple pounds of fat off, I mean, it's just not going to happen. You know, that problem was already a problem beforehand. It's just, you know, become exaggerated if that's the case. But yeah, you got a few more weeks of, or not even a few weeks, 2 more weeks of peeling down, and we get to run it back. We get to do the same thing all over again across the freaking pond. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got there. A little 19-day out update, I think. So back to normal. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Pumps, cardio, deficits, get a few more full day of eatings and grocery hauls, and then we'll be back in the trunks, busting out a freaking lat spread as wide as the eyes can see. Or at least I'm gonna try to make it that wide. So yeah, I'll just see you tomorrow.